In the vast emptiness of space, a secret was brewing. Deep within hidden asteroid bases, humanity was preparing for something no one expected. Elena Rodriguez, a seasoned admiral with piercing eyes and a mind sharper than the most advanced computer, stood watching massive holographic displays that showed intricate ship designs. The room was silent except for the soft hum of advanced technology. Dozens of engineers and military strategists worked quietly, their fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. Each person knew the weight of their mission: to create a fleet that would change everything. For decades, Earth had been watching. Not just observing, but preparing. Other alien civilizations saw humans as young, scattered, and weak. They thought humanity was just another species waiting to be conquered. But they were wrong. The massive shipyards carved into massive asteroids looked like ordinary space rocks from the outside. But inside, thousands of ships were being constructed. These weren't just ordinary vessels. Each ship represented years of research, impossible technological breakthroughs, and human determination. Elena remembered the early days of the project. When most governments thought it was a waste of resources, she and a small group of visionaries knew different. They had seen the signs. They understood that somewhere in the universe, a threat was coming. Quantum encrypted networks spread like invisible threads, connecting every part of the secret operation. Communication systems so advanced that no alien intelligence could ever hope to understand or intercept them. Each message, each data transfer was a carefully crafted puzzle that only humans could solve. The ships themselves were masterpieces of engineering. Adaptive technologies that could change their entire structure mid-battle. Energy systems that could draw power from multiple sources, including the cosmic radiation around them. Weapons that didn't just destroy, but could potentially rewrite the very molecular structure of their targets. Young technicians worked alongside veteran military personnel. Some were fresh out of advanced technical academies, their eyes bright with excitement. Others were battle-hardened veterans who had seen the glimpses of potential threats that most humans couldn't even imagine. Captain Marcus Chan walked into the control room, his movements precise and calculated. He carried with him the latest intelligence reports, each one confirming their worst fears and greatest hopes. An invasion was coming. But humanity would be ready. The ships were more than just metal and technology. They represented hope. They were humanity's promise to itself, a commitment that they would never again be caught unprepared. Every bolt, every circuit, every advanced system told a story of human resilience. Outside the asteroid bases, space looked peaceful. Stars twinkled, distant planets continued their silent orbits. No one would ever suspect the incredible preparation happening just beneath the surface of these seemingly ordinary space rocks. Elena touched a screen, bringing up detailed schematics of the fleet. Thousands of ships, each one unique, each one a potential game-changer. They weren't just building a military force. They were building a statement, a declaration that humanity was ready to defend itself. The Guardians Project, as it was secretly called, was more than a military initiative. It was a testament to human potential. Years of research, billions of dollars, countless sleepless nights, all converging into this moment of preparation. Young and old, scientists and soldiers, they all shared one common goal: protect humanity. Ensure its survival. Show the universe that humans were not just another species to be conquered. As Elena looked around the control room, she saw determination in every face. These weren't just workers or soldiers. They were guardians. Protectors of an entire species. Each person understood the incredible responsibility they carried. The universe was vast and mysterious. Threats could come from any direction. But humanity would be ready. Not through aggression, but through preparation. Not through fear, but through understanding. The ships continued to take shape. Silent. Waiting. Prepared. Something big was coming. And humanity would meet it head-on. The stars were quiet that day. Too quiet. Captain Marcus Chan watched the massive screens in the observation deck, his hands steady but his eyes alert. The Zarkon Collective was approaching, and everyone knew this would change everything. Alien ships moved like dark shadows across the galaxy. They were massive biological machines that seemed to breathe and pulse with an unnatural energy. Most civilizations would have been terrified. But humanity had been waiting. Intelligence reports had been streaming in for weeks. The Zarkon weren't just another spacefaring civilization. They were predators. Species after species had fallen to their advanced technology and ruthless expansion. They saw other civilizations as nothing more than resources to be consumed. Marcus remembered the briefings. How the Zarkon viewed humans as a young, scattered species. Easy prey. They believed humans were too divided, too weak to pose any real threat. Their intelligence suggested humanity was nothing more than a minor species waiting to be conquered. If only they knew. The first wave of Zarkon ships crossed the neutral zone. Their biomechanical hulls glowed with an eerie green light, pulsing with destructive energy. Sensors across human space began tracking their movement. But to the Zarkon, everything seemed normal. They saw empty space, unprotected territories. They didn't see the trap. In hidden command centers spread across asteroid bases, human operators waited. Years of preparation had led to this moment. Quantum communication networks hummed with silent energy. Each system was linked, each strategy carefully planned. Marcus touched a communication panel. "Perimeter teams, stand by," he said quietly. His voice was calm, almost casual. But everyone knew the stakes. The Zarkon ships moved closer. They were massive, each vessel large enough to destroy entire planetary settlements. Their technology was advanced, their weapons devastating. They had conquered civilizations that had existed for thousands of years. But they had never met humans. Deep within the hidden shipyards, thousands of vessels waited. Perfectly camouflaged, their energy signatures masked to blend with cosmic background radiation. These weren't just military ships. They were technological marvels that represented humanity's most advanced thinking. Elena Rodriguez watched from her command center. Decades of secret preparation were about to be tested. The Guardians project wasn't just a military strategy. It was humanity's insurance policy. A promise that they would never again be caught unprepared. The first Zarkon scouts moved closer. They scanned the seemingly empty space, searching for potential targets. Their sensors were designed to detect most known forms of spaceship technology. But they had never encountered human adaptive systems. Tension built in the human command centers. Years of training, months of preparation, all focused on this single moment. Young technicians worked alongside veteran military personnel. Each person knew their role, each understood the incredible responsibility they carried. Marcus watched the alien ships. They moved with a strange, almost organic rhythm. Biological technology that seemed to breathe and think. Most species would have been overwhelmed. But humans had been studying the Zarkon for years. Every weakness. Every potential vulnerability. Humanity had mapped them all. The first contact was moments away. The universe held its breath. The Zarkon didn't realize they weren't hunting. They were about to be hunted. Humanity's hidden fleet was ready. Not just ready, prepared in a way no one could have imagined. This wasn't just a military confrontation. This was a statement. A declaration that humans were far more than anyone had believed. The stars watched silently as two civilizations prepared to meet. One believing in certain victory. The other knowing that preparation was the greatest weapon of all. First contact was about to begin. And nothing would ever be the same again. The first attack came from nowhere. Literally nowhere. Quantum disruptors erupted across space, silent and deadly. Entire sections of the Zarkon fleet simply vanished. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just gone. Molecules unraveling faster than light could track. Captain Marcus Chen watched the tactical displays with calm precision. Years of secret training had prepared humanity for this moment. The Zarkon thought they were predators. They were about to learn they were prey. Stealth carriers appeared like ghosts. Hundreds of them, each carrying specialized combat teams with technologies so advanced they seemed like magic. These weren't ordinary military units. They were humanity's best, trained in adaptive warfare that rewrote the rules of combat. The Zarkon communication networks started to collapse. Their supposedly impenetrable systems were being dismantled piece by piece. Human cyber warfare units moved with surgical precision, attacking not just with weapons, but with intelligence. Each Zarkon strategic point became a potential trap. Their massive biomechanical ships, once considered invincible, now looked vulnerable. Humanity had studied them for generations. Every movement, every potential defense was anticipated. Elena Rodriguez monitored the battle from her hidden command center. Her team had spent decades preparing for this moment. Not just military preparation, but a complete understanding of alien psychology and technological limitations. The first wave of human adaptive combat teams moved into position. Their suits could change molecular structure, absorb energy, redirect attacks. Traditional weapons meant nothing to them. They were living, breathing technological systems. Smaller Zarkon ships started to panic. Their commanders couldn't understand what was happening. Entire battle groups disappeared without a sound. No warnings. No signals. Just complete technological erasure. Marcus spoke into the communication network. His voice was calm, almost conversational. "Execute Phase 2, he said. Massive energy waves began to pulse across the battlefield. Not weapons. Not traditional attacks. Something entirely different. Adaptive energy fields that could rewrite the fundamental communication protocols of the alien fleet. The Zarkon had believed humans were primitive. They were about to learn their mistake. Each human ship moved with an impossible coordination. No traditional military could match their synchronization. They weren't just fighting. They were thinking. Adapting. Evolving in real time. Quantum communication networks spread like invisible spider webs. Each human vessel connected, sharing information faster than any alien technology could comprehend. What looked like chaos to the Zarkon was actually a perfectly choreographed dance of technological superiority. Young technicians worked alongside veteran combat specialists. Some were barely 20 years old, their fingers dancing across advanced control systems. Others were battle-hardened veterans who had trained their entire lives for this moment. The Zarkon fleet started to fragment. Not just militarily. Their entire technological infrastructure began to collapse. Humanity wasn't just fighting. They were systematically dismantling an entire civilization's technological framework. Elena watched the displays. Decades of secret preparation were paying off. The Guardians Project was more than a military strategy. It was humanity's promise to itself. A commitment that they would never again be caught unprepared. Massive energy disruptions began to spread. The Zarkon ships started to break apart, their biomechanical systems unable to resist the advanced human technologies. What had seemed impossible was now happening in real time. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. "We're not just defending," he said quietly. "We're sending a message." The message was clear: humanity was no longer just another species in the galaxy. They were a force to be recognized. A civilization that could not be conquered. The awakening had begun. And the universe would never be the same again. The battle turned quickly. What started as an alien invasion became a human demonstration of technological superiority. The Zarkon collective watched in shock as their supposedly unbeatable fleet began to crumble. Communication networks of the alien civilization started to collapse. Human cyber warfare units worked like digital surgeons, cutting through complex systems with incredible precision. Each alien strategic point became a potential trap, each communication channel a pathway for human infiltration. Captain Marcus Chun understood something the Zarkon didn't: warfare was no longer about pure military strength. It was about adaptability, intelligence, and speed of thinking. Human teams could change strategies faster than the aliens could process them. Massive holographic displays in the human command centers showed the battle's progression. Blue markers representing human forces moved with impossible coordination. Each ship wasn't just a weapon, it was a thinking, adapting system. The Zarkon had believed humans were weak. They discovered something very different. Where other species saw rigid battle plans, humans saw fluid possibilities. Every setback became an opportunity, every challenge a chance to innovate. Advanced human technologies began revealing themselves. Ships could literally change molecular structure mid-battle. Energy absorption systems turned enemy weapons into additional power sources. Adaptive combat suits allowed human soldiers to survive in conditions that would kill other species instantly. Elena Rodriguez watched the tactical displays with calm determination. Decades of secret preparation were proving their worth. The Guardians Project was more than a military strategy, it was humanity's insurance policy against potential extinction. Smaller Zarkon ships started to panic. Their commanders couldn't understand the rapid technological dismantling happening around them. Entire battle groups disappeared without warning, their complex systems simply shutting down. The human approach was revolutionary. They weren't just fighting to win. They were fighting to demonstrate a point: humanity was not a species to be underestimated. Each technological breakthrough was a message to the galaxy. Quantum communication networks spread like invisible webs. Human vessels shared information faster than light could travel. What looked like chaos to the Zarkon was actually a perfectly choreographed technological dance. Marcus spoke into the communication network. "Remember why we fight," he said. "Not for conquest. Not for glory. But for protection." Young technicians worked alongside veteran combat specialists. Some were barely 20, their fingers moving across advanced control systems with incredible speed. Others were battle-hardened veterans who had trained their entire lives for this moment. The Zarkon fleet began to fragment. Not just militarily, but technologically. Their biomechanical systems, once considered invincible, now looked fragile against human adaptive technologies. Each alien ship became a potential point of complete system failure. Energy disruption waves spread across the battlefield. Massive alien vessels started to break apart, their complex systems unable to resist the advanced human technologies. What had seemed impossible was now happening in real time. Elena understood this was more than a battle. This was a statement about human potential. A declaration that humanity would not be a passive species in the galaxy. They would defend themselves. They would evolve. The tide was turning rapidly. Human forces moved with an intelligence that seemed almost supernatural. They weren't just fighting with weapons. They were fighting with pure technological imagination. Zarkon command structures began to collapse. Their communication systems, once considered impenetrable, were being systematically dismantled. Human cyber warfare units moved with surgical precision, attacking not just with weapons, but with pure intelligence. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. The universe was about to learn something important about humanity. They were not just survivors. They were innovators. Defenders. A species that could transform challenges into opportunities. The battle was changing. The narrative was shifting. What started as an alien invasion was becoming a human technological revolution. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The final confrontation arrived with a silence more thunderous than any weapon. Humanity's hidden fleet emerged from their secret locations, revealing a technological marvel that would rewrite galactic history. The Zarkon Collective, once considered an unbeatable force, now looked fragile. Their massive biomechanical ships seemed small against the coordinated human fleet. What had begun as an invasion was now a complete system collapse. Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood on the command deck, her eyes reflecting the holographic displays showing the battle's progression. Decades of secret preparation had led to this moment. The Guardians Project was more than a military strategy, it was humanity's promise to itself. Quantum communication networks pulsed with impossible energy. Human ships moved like living organisms, adapting faster than any known technology could track. Each vessel was more than a weapon, it was a thinking, evolving system. Captain Marcus Chen watched the final stages of the confrontation. The human approach wasn't about total destruction. It was about sending a message. A clear, unmistakable declaration that humanity would not be conquered. Alien communication systems began to fail completely. Their once proud fleet became nothing more than floating debris. The Zarkon had believed humans were weak. They discovered something entirely different. Young technicians worked alongside veteran combat specialists. Some were barely 20, their fingers dancing across advanced control systems with incredible precision. Others were battle-hardened veterans who understood the weight of this moment. The battle wasn't just about military victory. It was about survival. About proving that humanity was a force to be recognized in the galaxy. Each technological breakthrough was a statement: we are here, we are prepared, we will not be broken. Massive energy disruption waves spread across the battlefield. Zarkon ships broke apart, their complex biomechanical systems unable to resist human adaptive technologies. What had seemed impossible was now happening in real time. Elena understood this was more than a military confrontation. This was humanity's coming of age. A moment when they proved they were more than just another species in the galaxy. They were defenders. Innovators. Survivors. The human fleet moved with an intelligence that seemed almost supernatural. They weren't just fighting with weapons. They were fighting with pure technological imagination. Each ship, each combat team represented years of secret preparation. Zarkon command structures collapsed completely. Their communication systems, once considered impenetrable, were systematically dismantled. Human cyber warfare units moved with surgical precision, attacking not just with weapons, but with pure intelligence. Marcus spoke into the communication network. His voice was calm, almost conversational. "Remember why we fight," he said. "Not for conquest. Not for glory. But for protection." The galaxy watched in silent amazement. The Zarkon Collective, a civilization that had conquered countless worlds, was being completely dismantled by a species they had considered insignificant. Advanced human technologies revealed themselves in full glory. Ships could change molecular structure mid-battle. Energy absorption systems turned enemy weapons into additional power sources. Adaptive combat suits allowed human soldiers to survive in conditions that would kill other species instantly. As the final moments of the battle approached, something remarkable happened. The human fleet wasn't seeking total destruction. They were demonstrating a higher level of technological and strategic understanding. Elena allowed herself a rare smile. Humanity had not just survived. They had redefined the very concept of interstellar conflict. The Zarkon Collective became a lesson for the entire galaxy. A warning that humanity was not a species to be underestimated. Their hidden fleet was more than a military force, it was a statement of human potential. Marcus watched the final stages of the confrontation. The universe had changed. And humanity had changed it. The galactic reckoning was complete. Humanity had arrived. And nothing would ever be the same again.